Hi, this is Jim from Safety Wars. Before we start the program, I want to make sure everyone understands that we often talk about OSHA and EPA citations, along with some other regulatory actions from other agencies, legal cases, and criminal activity. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Proposed fines are exactly that, and they are often litigated, reduced, or vacated. We use available public records, news accounts, and press releases. We cannot warranty or guarantee the details of any of the stories we share, since we are not directly involved with these stories, at least not most of the time. Enjoy the show.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
All right. So a lot going on out there today. I mean, the Trump administration has been assigning people left and right today with high level stuff here. So in the U.S. Senate today, Senator Thune was elected Senate Majority Leader for the upcoming congressional session, which begins the first day after January 2nd, I believe. They're about January 2nd. As the incoming majority leader. So what the idea here is, a little bit inside baseball here. It's a plurality. This is essentially what it comes down to, where we have basically the most person with the most votes, essentially, for majority leader, and again, you vote for Democrat and Republicans here, right? So, whoever receives the plurality of the votes wins the election. And Thune received a minimum of 27 votes, is what they're saying. They're not saying the whole thing. That it wasn't released as far as I know. Basically, here it is. It just came out. Senate Republicans voted to promote Thune over Senator John Cornyn, a former number 2 leader, Senator Rick Scott, the favorite of many Trump allies. Trump did not get involved, at least not publicly, on things. After Scott was eliminated in the first round of voting, Thune picked up enough of the Floridian votes to beat Cornyn 29-24. So it would have been nicer for the Republicans if it was over 50 votes. However, that's just the way it is. Now, what we're looking at on with the election here, right? And I mean, we still have Arizona counting votes here. So Arizona is let's see, how does this break down here? They even took from all of these things off, Fox News even. House election results 2024. We got to go somewhere else. So right now, what they are looking at is the House is at the Democrats 207, the Republicans 207. The Republicans need 218 for a majority, and they have like 3 races that are outstanding. So for the Republicans to win the House majority, they need to pick up 1 vote. And let's not forget, a lot of these seats are being vacated. I mean, it's a very close thing here because they're going into the Trump cabinet. So what it comes down to is that the Republicans are at 217 with Democrats at 207. And right now, the Democrats basically have to win everything, run the table of those votes to 11 outstanding elections to be declared majority here. That's not likely going to happen, is what we're looking at. Some more election news here. So you have Thune in the Senate Majority Leader. And I tell you what, it's going to be very, very messy for the Republicans in the House till they figure out what's going on exactly. Today, Biden highlighted a peaceful transfer of power as he hosted the president-elect here, President-elect Donald Trump. I don't know. It feels weird saying president-elect because he was already president. So I don't know if is he president-elect or president. I don't know how we want to say this. However, President-elect Donald Trump returned to the nation's capital Wednesday for the first time since winning an election, meeting with congressional leaders, sitting in the Oval Office with President Biden and announcing a flurry of high-profile nominations. From everything that is out there, from all the reports and what they've shown on TV, everybody wants to put this thing behind them. All this acrimony here. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, Jim Carville was talking today on commenting on this, and he had some choice comments. Go and look them up. Very, very nice. And by the way, they're not safe for work here. And right now we're getting blue anon. So you had QAnon's conspiracies. The Democrats are coming along with, and this is from the Daily Beast, blue anon conspiracies after Trump's election sweep. In the wake of President-elect Donald Trump's sweeping election night victory, a rising set of Democratic voters are having a difficult time accepting the results. You're telling me, people I'm talking to, it's bad. It's real. I understand why they feel that way, but it's bad. People are having a huge issue with this. So much so that the election conversations have devolved into a set of extreme beliefs called Blue Anon. It's like its right-wing counterpart QAnon, the far left's Blue Anon is also rooted in denialism at all costs. Trump cheated began to trend on X after the race was called in his favor, according to Gordon Krovitz, CEO of ratings transparency system NewsGuard. In an interview with Wired, Krovitz said that there were over 92,100 mentions of Trump cheated on X since midnight on November 6th, with several social media users basically accusing Trump of stealing votes with the help of Republicans and billionaire Elon Musk, all using the hashtag Trump cheated. I don't know if they're actually serious or if they're just doing this in retaliation to what happened in 2020. Tulsi Gabbard has been named Director of National Intelligence. Now, here's the question here. I would think, and for those of you on the audio portion of this, we're not doing a video cast here tonight. Trump taps Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence, and the Director of National Intelligence is not capitalized. I find that unusual, and I'm not really the grammar police here. Is that a slap in the face? I don't know. Offhanded comment there by the authors here. So this is from The Hill by Rebecca Beitsch. Beitsch. I'm pronouncing it the German way. President-elect Trump announced Wednesday that former Hawaii Representative Tulsi Gabbard would serve as his Director of National Intelligence, a remarkable turnaround for a former Democrat accused of peddling Russian narratives. For over 2 decades, Tulsi has fought our country and the freedoms of all Americans. As a former candidate for the Democrat presidential nomination, she has broad support of both parties. She is now a Republican. I know Tulsi will bring the fearless spirit that has defined her illustrious career to our intelligence community, championing our constitutional rights and securing peace through strength. Tulsi will make us all proud, Trump wrote in a statement. The Director of National Intelligence oversees an agency that helps coordinate actions among all U.S. intelligence agencies. There. Okay, what else do we have? Defense Secretary, who was that? He's off of Fox News. Rick, the Trump's defense Secretary pick describes liberals as domestic enemies in his latest book. I don't believe that. His name is Pete Hegseth. If you watch Fox News, he is on one of the Saturday morning hosts on, I believe it's Fox and Friends weekends. And there's a big long what's the word I'm looking? List of candidates here that they are doing. So we have Attorney General Matt Gaetz, a little controversial figure with some people, And what else do you have here? Trump picks 2024. Let's see here. We have a list. Senator Mark Rubio, the senator, is looking as a Secretary of State. Susie Wiles is Chief of Staff. Tim Homan as the former Immigration and Customs Enforcement head. That's ICE. He will be returning to his previous job. And that's going on here, with everything. I mean, no, it's going to be a cast of characters here. It seems like people who, from my experience and my knowledge here, Trump is trying to go after loyalty. Are you loyal? Are you a loyal person? Can I depend on you? That seems to be where all of his cabinet picks are going here. I don't know how it's going to be from the first to the second term. Now, being that we are safety professionals, that's who we're marketed to, and people interested in safety, what can we expect from OSHA? I don't know. Let's see what this is. So I came across a phenomenal article by Con Maisel Carey on JD Supra. Title of the article is Trump 2.0 OSHA expects shifts in federal enforcement and rulemaking priorities, as well as more aggressive state plan enforcement. As the dust settles, going on and on, what's going on here with on this? So under Trump 2.0, it's likely to adopt more employer-friendly policies, as Sheldon Primus and I had discussed on his show and in this show, that it's compliance assistance, not enforcement, is usually what way Republicans go here. I don't know. We're going to survive no matter what here. So what are we looking at according to this article? One, prioritize compliance assistance efforts, including increasing the avenues to foster cooperation between OSHA and employers by expanding its Alliance Strategic Partnership, VPP, challenge and on-site consultation. Scale back or stop using press releases, which we rely on here, to publicly shame employers through the agency's severe injury dashboard. Even if OSHA continues issuing press releases, history teaches employers to expect far fewer of them, and that those which are issued will have decided less sensational tone. Roll back enforcement policies. So where Biden had lowered thresholds for severe violator enforcement programs and more aggressive use of egregious, willful, and repeat citations. In other words, we can ensure OSHA will no longer be exploring creative ways to use all the tools in its toolbox. Right? And reduce the number of emphasis by declining to renew or even withdraw certain national enforcement programs, regional enforcement programs, and local enforcement programs. Changes that tend to occur during Republican stuff. So what we're looking at, and I think we all could agree on this, is from the worker walk-around representation designation process rule being either revised or dropped. My opinion is that it's illegal, because no one other than OSHA is supposed to know about an OSHA inspection, and here we have a third party knowing. I don't think that's pretty cool there. I don't think that's good. But we'll see, because the unions say something else. But let's remember, Trump does not have to run for re-election. I see the heat, injury, and illness prevention one being very either being scaled back. I mean, they're still issuing comments on it, but I don't see that ever becoming implemented anyway. And same thing with the emergency response standard. I think they're going to probably walk that back with that, or at least deprioritize it or change it in some way. And the other thing is electronic tracking of workplace injuries and illnesses. I have some ideas with that. So and let's remember, we have a lot of states out there with private OSHA, state level OSHAs. I don't want to say private. And we have insurance companies and everything else there going along with this. But who's the head of OSHA now? Is Douglas Parker, the Assistant Secretary for Occupational Safety and Health. What is his, now let's see what his resume say. Parker OSHA resume. Let's see what that is. All right, so this is right off of the OSHA website. Douglas L. Parker was sworn in as Assistant Secretary of Labor in November 3rd, 2021. He served in the Obama administration as Deputy Assistant Secretary for Policy in the Department of Labor's MSHA, and was a member of the Biden-Harris transition team focused on worker health and safety issues. He held positions as Senior Policy Advisor and Special Assistant with it, and he served as Chief of California's Cal OSHA, and he's basically an attorney. Now, I'm going to make the suggestion here that whoever, and it would have been the same suggestion, Republican or Democrat, they need somebody with a little bit more hands-on experience in the field on the sharp end of the stick. Not saying anything against attorneys with this, labor law attorneys and things of that nature, but they need somebody really with field experience and some other, policy experience, hopefully of the two, because I tell you what, they dropped the ball during COVID and continue to drop the ball after the change in administrations. And they need somebody who is an expert on this stuff, right, on these OSHA issues. And as everyone knows, I use that word guardedly, because usually when I hear someone say, I'm an expert, or this is an expert, that's a very dangerous thing. That's a loaded word, for lack of a better word. No, it's a thing going on now here. So we're going to go to our first commercial break, and we'll be coming back at you.
You are listening to Safety Wars. Tomorrow's Safety Today.
In an unpredictable world, one voice rises above the chaos. Meet Jim Polzo, a seasoned safety expert who's navigated through some of the most dangerous scenarios, from anthrax, explosive cleanups, disasters, and numerous environmental cleanups, and lived to tell the tale. Now he's bringing his wealth of knowledge, insights, and experiences to you through Safety Wars. From workplace hazards to the hidden dangers in your own home, Jim covers it all with his engaging storytelling. Safety Wars isn't just a podcast, it's your guide to a safer world. Join Jim Polzo and become part of the Safety Wars revolution. Available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts and videos. Safety Wars. Your safety is our mission.
Have you listened or watched the Safety War Show? It does stream live on the radio and on the streamer-emers that we have. So if you have not taken a listen to Jim Polzel and what the hell he's doing every evening with Safety Wars, I would strongly encourage you to take a view or take a listen, whichever option is available for you, and take a listen to what the hell he has going on. It will take some deep dives and some information that you might be interested in.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polzel with Safety Wars.
That's my daddy.
All right, so we have not really reported on the Ukraine war. Yeah, way back in the day when this is what we used to use. Announcing this war news. I tell you what, so things are not looking good here. So, nuclear option. Ukraine months away from nuke bomb for Nagasaki-style blast on Russia as Kiev waits for Trump's next move on war aid. They're in a little bit of stress just from the change of administrations. But let's remember that Trump was supplying Ukraine all along. One of the friends in the program was one of the gave me the down low on a lot of this stuff, where a certain political family was selling munitions to Ukraine all through the Trump administration's tenure, the first Trump administration. So to think that everybody has nice and clean hands on here because someone had to authorize those things, and nobody has clean hands on any of this stuff here. Here we have Ukraine could develop a nuclear bomb within months if the U.S. withdraws military aid under Donald Trump. Is this like a blackmail sort of situation? That's my question. The war-torn country could build a basic device capable of wreaking untold destruction on Russia. This is from the U.S. Sun. By using tech similar to that brought down 1945 bombing of Nagasaki. So what they're saying here is the claim was made by a paper from the Center for Army Conversion and Disarmament Studies, CAC, which has been shared with Ukraine's 70 defense missile. The use of nuclear weapons in the Russia-Ukraine war could spell a total catastrophe, not just for those nations, but the whole human race. In May, two of Trump's former national security chiefs wrote a paper that the U.S. should only continue supplying weapons to Ukraine if Kyiv enters peace talks with Russia. During his presidential campaign, Trump said he could solve things within a day. Well, I hope to God he can, because this is insane. What they are saying is, this article from the U.S. Sun, is that Ukraine is capable of building a basic device from what they already have on hand, right? Because they do have nuclear plants and things of that nature. So 9 working nuclear plants. Now, estimated they have 7 tons of plutonium available, and they're looking along the tactical, I guess is what you would call them, more right. So the ones in Nagasaki and Hiroshima, I believe, were somewhere around 17 to 21 kilotons in power. So you're looking at around 2 kilotons in power on this one. With this, we'll see. I hope this does not escalate to that on anything. Nobody wins this sort of thing. So payments for soldiers killed on the front lines are transforming local economies in some of Russia's poorest regions. Detonomics. Going to war is now a rational economic choice in Russia's impoverished hinterlands. Facing heavy losses in Ukraine, Russia is offering high salaries and bonuses to entice new recruits. In some of the country's poorest regions, military wages as much as 5 times the average. The families of those who die on the front lines receive large compensation payments from the government. This happened in this country, World War II, also. But as my father liked to point out, nothing replaces a family member here. And this is a little bit morbid on here with this. And let's not forget what. This was a sort of a similar situation in this country, still is in the poorer communities, people getting heavily recruited into the military, right, to get out of poverty here. It's, I don't know. It's, it is what it is, Now, U.S. opens new missile base near Russia's border. U.S. will open a new air defense base in Europe on Wednesday, as many NATO members on the continent took on with trepidation as President-elect Trump prepares to return to the White House. The missile defense in Redzikowo. My Polish is not that good. Redzikowo, a town in northwestern Poland close to the Baltic Sea, is the first permanent U.S. base in the Central European country. This is a little bit, this town is, something about 100 miles. This is northwestern Poland, so this is not near my family, but this is about 300 miles from where my family is from in Poland here. This is in northwestern Poland, close to the Baltic Sea. I don't know. It seems Now, outside of the years of communism, Poland and the United States have always been close here. And I mean, even when the Polish president was here the last time, a lot of the people I know got to meet him, and they were upset because I didn't join them. I was involved in things where I could not do that. But they're basically, we have strong ties with the Polish community in my family, and we hear about all this stuff all the time, and some of the programs here dealt with this also. So when they came to the United States, the president, I mean, he came and he was talking to Polish people all over the place. Went out to Chicago, gave all different types of shout outs and speeches to the Polish community here over in the New York area. Invited a whole bunch of my friends over to the Polish consulate and the embassy. Sat down. So there were always, this is not a surprise for everybody is, pardon me, together here with this. Now, my opinion on this, and again, people are it's controversial. I'll say that. Probably one of the more controversial things I've said here, but I got backing by none other than Bill Clinton a while back here when he was campaigning for Kamala Harris. And it's all about demographics. So basically, demographics drives a lot of these conflicts. Russia they're collapsing. There's a demographic collapse there, and they're not going to be able to fight a war in their traditional sense, which is throw people. I'm not a military tactician, but to throw people at a problem and then get butchered. They could do that now. They're not going to be able to do that in 10 years because of demographics. Don't have enough people. Never had enough people. Now, how does that look in this country? We're talking about immigrants, where immigrants are going to be sent out of the country. The reality is we need immigrants in the workforce. And people say, well, Jimmy, you're nuts. That's crazy. That's conspiracy theory. Well, here's a quote from, not a quote, I've actually edited a clip from Bill Clinton right here.
She's the only candidate who has actually endorsed a bill that would hold down immigration in any given year to a certain point, and then make sure we gave people a decent place to live. We didn't divide people from their children, and we did total vetting before people got in. Now, Trump killed the bill. The bill was being written by senior Republicans in the Senate, and he killed the bill. Why? You got a case in...
Now, the commentators on the right side of the aisle ended it right there. I listened to it was a 10-minute long talk. That's not the important thing that he said. They were saying, well, listen to what he said, and that's not true. Guess what? That was not the important part of the talk. The most important part of the talk is this.
Not very long ago, didn't you? They made an ad about a young woman who'd been killed by an immigrant.
Still not important.
Yeah, well, if they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have happened. But if they're all properly vetted, and that doesn't happen, and America is not having enough babies to keep our populations up, so we need immigrants that have been vetted to do work, there wouldn't be a problem. And he couldn't keep people all torn up and upset. Kamala Harris says, I don't want you to get upset. If you don't like me, you can vote against me next time. If you do like me, you can vote for me next time. Meanwhile, what do you say we solve some problems? What do you say we get something done? What do you say we get rid of all this resentment?
So that little 10-second clip there was told a lot, because this has been known with a lot of stuff since about 1994, when the UN had a lot of meetings on this and issued a lot of reports and encouraged low population growth for the West to depopulate the West, because regardless of your opinion, since 94, this is what they've been pushing. This was an outgrowth of the 1992 Rio de Janeiro Conference on Sustained Development there in 1992. And the Republicans are involved there, and the Democrats are involved with it also. And basically, and the depopulation situation and debate has been going on since about the 1840s here in this country. And then really started to pick up in the 1920s and then 1967 with Paul Ehrlich's books. And a lot of people on both sides of the aisle there with that, talking about demographics. Now, you have to have people, you have to have the right demographics. You got to have the right people in the right age groups. Now, Russia here is going to, again, we're going to look into the future here. Safety Wars is not only about OSHA. It's about looking into the future and seeing all this other stuff here. So Russia, their problems are going to be compounded here immensely, regardless of how this war ends. Because right now we have a lot of Ukrainian refugees. Where are they? According to my cousin, they're all in Poland, it seems. Because Poland, again, low birth rate, needs the people. They welcome the Ukrainians, and parts of Ukraine were Poland, and Poland parts of Ukraine, and Lithuania was also part of Poland historically, and everything else. Oh, by the way, November 11th, it's Polish Independence Day. So I went into the Polish deli yesterday, and like all the pierogies were gone, all the head cheese was gone. There was a shortage on kielbasa and everything else probably because of Polish Independence Day. Because they're in this area, a lot of celebrations for that on top of Veterans Day. But anyway, I digress. When this is said and done and over with, regardless of how this looks to Russia, this is going to be a problem because they do not have the demographics to support their country. So by the time 2060, 2070, 2080 comes around, Russia's going to look a lot different. By the way, United States will look a lot different because of what Bill Clinton had just said here. It's the same problem we have. This is why we are going to have immigrants. Now, the problem is not so much the immigration, it's the citizenship thing. How do they become citizens or not? What makes a citizen in the United States? What doesn't? Do we want to have in Europe where they have a Eurozone or EU, right? European Union. There were talks of having that in the mid-2000s and the 1990s in the United States, and again, a resurge under Obama, where we have open borders between Canada, Mexico, and the United States, and free-flowing everything. So we have workers. I don't know. If we do not face our demographic issues, however that's going to be, whatever form that's going to take, and if we are not being honest with that, then we are going to continue to have problems here. Real simple. And this is the 800-pound gorilla nobody wants to talk about in the room. And that's what I am going to say on that. Now, we're going to go to our next commercial break. I'm going to set up our regular OSHA news, and we're going to go from there.
In the professional safety community, communication and planning are just a few keys to your program's success. The question many practitioners have is, where do I start? Dr. Jay Allen, the creator of the Safety FM platform and host of the Rated R Safety Show, has built a global foundation to help you along the way. Go to safetyfm.com and listen to some of the industry's best and most involved professionals, including Blaine Hoffman with the Safety Pro, Sam Goodman with the Hop Nerd, Sheldon Primus with the Safety Consultant, Jim Pozell with Safety Wars, Emily Elrod with Unapologetically Bold, and many others. As individuals, we can do great things, but as a team, we become amazing. Dial into safetyfm.com today and surround yourself with a powerful force of knowledge and support.
I'm sure you've heard the news. Safety training is evolving, and you should be too. Outdated safety training isn't just boring, it's dangerous. If your safety trainer is still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety from 25 years ago, it's time for a change. Imagine safety training that actually addresses the hazards unique to your workplace. No more generic, one-size-fits-all solutions. The Safety Wars team at safetywars.com is here to revolutionize how you approach safety, with customized training that's relevant, engaging, and effective. Contact Jim Polzel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces. Say goodbye to outdated safety training and hello to a safer, more productive environment. Visit safetywars.com now.
In a world where danger lurks in every corner, one man stands as a beacon of hope. Jim Posel, a veteran safety expert with over 3 decades of experience, now bringing his knowledge to you with Safety Wars. Engaging, informative, and always relevant. That's Safety Wars. Join the safety revolution with Safety Wars, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts and videos.
Okay, we are now streaming on Rumble, YouTube, and X here. So, and LinkedIn. I'm sorry. We are now streaming on YouTube, X, and LinkedIn. So on Facebook, you folks are going to be getting a pre-recorded type thing, and I'm going to link to the YouTube video on that. So for whatever reason, we had connectivity issues here at the beginning, and things were not working. I don't know why. So we're going to go over. I figured we take a little break. We kick in the OSHA, Department of Labor announcements. I don't know. We'll see. They're saying that Trump might curtail any of this stuff. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to leave it to you that way here. We will adjust appropriately. Now, U.S. Department of Labor, Commerce released Skills, first hiring guide to help employers hire, promote workers based on skill and knowledge. What a novel idea. No nepotism on there, no payoffs, no kickbacks. We're going to promote workers based on skill and knowledge. Wow. U.S. Department of Labor, Commerce released Skills, first hiring guide. So we need a hiring guide for that? Really? This was announced at the White House's Classroom to Career Summit, where President Biden, First Lady Jill Biden, that is Dr. Jill Biden, she earned it, welcomed nearly 300 education workforce leaders to announce new actions on the workforce, career, and technical education and highlight key achievements by the Biden-Harris administration. Let's see what the starter kit is. They released it. Okay. My question is this a response to the election? Because James Carville, who I used to do a good impression of way back in the day, you should Google it, was not nice what he said on why they did that. And basically, the average man was not championed by the Democrats, according to him, except he didn't say it that nicely. And what I've noticed, and I'm probably going to be the same way when I get that age with him, and by the way, I hope he's doing well along with his wife, Mary Madeline, right? I think that's her name. With that, but no, nothing. There's no governor on him. He just lets it run. So what's the purpose of? I'm looking at the document here. You're seeing it at home, and it shows who did this, right? Who put this together? Right, a cast of characters that are all familiar with you. Between unions and Indeed and LinkedIn and Jobs for the Future and AFT, American Federation of Teachers. Examples of workers that could benefit from these strategies labeled in the book: skills-based hiring, a restaurant assistant manager who handles bookkeeping despite no formal training, a high school student who taught herself code to make her own video games and earned an Unreal Engine online certificate, a former service member who managed people in the military and earned an associate's degree in business management at a community college. You may be familiar with skills-first hiring based on news coverage of employers removing degree requirements. Yeah, a lot of, I tell you what, how many safety professionals don't have degrees, and they're pretty damn good safety professionals? I'll say that. Removing a 4-year degree requirement is only one consideration in building for skills-first strategy. One of the reasons why, it depends on what field you're in, is insurance, I'm told. What do you mean, insurance, Jim? Well, people got to know what the hell they're doing. And, hey, as a degree in this, got to know. Must know what they're doing. We know that doesn't really happen all the time. All right. Companies that overlook internal candidates miss opportunities to retain and elevate high performers. You should consider skills-first promotion for existing staff. Helpful for people who went to college, too. Skills-first hiring opens paths. To workers who took college classes but never finished the degree, and leading by example. 70% of federal jobs now do not require 4-year degrees, and the government overhauled 100,000 information technology jobs to move towards skills-first hiring. Again, this is about employee retention. Nearly half of all new hires exit within 2 years, and that costs a lot if you're going to train them. Skills-first strategies. Here are some reasons why we have to find better workers. Skills-first strategies zero in on workers who can do the job and do it well. More workers than you know have the skill you need. There are financial, systemic, and other barriers keeping you from hiring skilled talent. For example, 70% of people of color and rural workers face barriers to completing a 4-year degree. Right? And I don't know. This is sort of like, do we really have to go into this? But apparently some people do. I mean, successful businesses already are doing this. I don't exactly understand the point to this part. I guess, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have this list here and here with everything else, and teach people to be a little bit more self-sufficient, a little bit more business savvy. I tell you what, this probably requires a whole program. I'm probably going to do one here on this. So I don't know. We'll see how this works out here with this, right? U.S. Department of Labor sues National Maintenance Solutions operator who denied workers wages, attempted to deport employees who complained. This is a local story here out of Albany, New York. U.S. Department of Labor has filed suit to recover back wages, liquidated damages, punitive damages, and injunctive relief from a Tonawanda construction contract that allegedly underpaid employees and tried to have employees who complained deported by calling federal immigration authorities. The action follows an investigation by the department's Wage and Hour Division that found National Maintenance Solutions, LLC, and its president and founder, Thomas W. Paulette, did not pay minimum wage and overtime to employees working at hotels in Amherst, Buffalo, Hamburg, New York, and in Erie, Pennsylvania. So, again, violation of the Fair Labor Standards Act, and let's see what else. The employees were retaliated against, and we'll see how this turns out. Again, everyone's innocent until proven guilty on this stuff. Now, we have a couple of questions here, stories in a row here. So we have one in window cleaning, one company, one at a pizza oven. And if I scroll down to the rest of this stuff here and went all the way down, you would see there would be a lot of children working in dangerous tasks and children working here with this. My question is this. We have 300 and some thousand children that are, they call them missing on the one side of the political aisle. The other side calls it unprocessed, and we don't know exactly where they are. They're out there somewhere. My question is are these children that we're reading these press releases on, are those the missing children from the 300 and some thousand? My question, what's their immigration status? Not that I'm out to get people here, anything like, I don't want to stay out of that, but what is their immigration status? Because we're seeing a lot of children working in places where they should not be working, right? 12 and 13-year-old kids here. So a Grand Rapids window cleaning company must pay $29,210 in civil penalties for employing 3 children to complete dangerous tasks while cleaning residential windows and gutters and installing Christmas lights. Children are not allowed to work at height, generally speaking. Investigators determined that the company allowed 2 of the 3 employed children to operate a motor vehicle over 6,000 pounds as part of their work duties and failed to maintain accurate employee records, including birth date of at least 1 child. A child was injured while working a dangerous job for which they never should have been hired. Right? And I don't know. It's here we go. In addition to penalties assessed, the consent findings require the company train all supervisors and team leads on tasks prohibited for children to perform, including hazardous occupations order number 2, which prohibits children from driving motor vehicles, and hazardous occupations order 16, which prohibits children from working on roofs. Again, dangerous things, not allowed to do on this. Here we have one at a pizza restaurant. This I could expect more because these are often family run or family owned things. It's a Iron River pizza restaurant agrees to pay, it's in Wisconsin, $99,000 in penalties for employing children to operate hot oven, meat grinder, and work beyond allowed hours. Diners at an Iron River pizza restaurant will soon see teenage workers wearing different colored shirts or name tags, not as part of the marketing promotion, but to help managers quickly remember the ages of young employees to avoid them assigning them to dangerous duties or employing them to work longer. I tell you what, when I was that age and when I worked in that industry, that was, yes, I worked at Roy Rogers. I love the double R burger, by the way, which I don't think they have anymore. Double Roy Rogers burger was with ham. But I mean, this was a major issue, and I worked at a couple of other places, restaurants. This is a major issue here. With that, they all the time, I find it hard to believe that the people did not know that the managers did not know this. Maybe they didn't care about it, but I find it hard to believe that they didn't know. I'm sorry. Right, and everyone's innocent until proven guilty. With that. Okay, and here we have a landscaper who underpaid 60 employees and has to pay back $310,000. And here we have, just underpaid stuff. Nothing on the OSHA end here. And here's another pizza restaurant. Child labor law penalties. That's 3. I don't know. Are these children of the ones that are that they lost track of? That's my question on all of that. Pretty sad with that. And again, context drives behavior. Now, here is FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency. Now, if I run overtime on this on Safety FM, this will be released in the podcast. And again, I have to do some editing there because we had some audio issues at the beginning. I believe it's from a slow internet connection, but I have like a 5G connection here. But since we've had these fires the last couple of days, things have been a little bit, and high winds, things have gotten a little bit kaplooey on this stuff here. Now, when FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, when they are going into a situation, right, into a thing, And I've been trained on this. So this is not Jimmy talking with speculation. I've been trained on this. I'm part of the Community Emergency Response Team for Rockland County, New York. What happens is FEMA has to assess neighborhoods for a couple of different reasons. One of the reasons is to assess who needs help, right? Everyone, who needs help? Who needs help? Yeah, that is part of it. One of the other things is allocation of resources, allocation of where the real damage is. Now, we're trained to go out and do the surveys. And what the idea here in Rockland County was that you have someone from your community. Everybody knows Jimmy with the safety wars, Jimmy with the 2 children, Jimmy with, he'll lend you a hand. I wave to all the neighbors. And, I get, hey, I'm Jimmy. I'm living on such and such a street. And I'm going to go out there and I'm sent out here by the county, and we're doing a community survey on what damages there are out here, and we're going to go out and we're going to do our thing out here with and okay, we got this is it, and we're trained to fill out the paperwork. This paperwork then goes to a central location, and now they're able to say, well, now these are what the issues. We may have some issues with this house being damaged. These people need help. This, and everybody meant to be a community-based thing here. And Rockland County put this in place because they lost money during Superstorm Sandy, they think. Because what you're able to do is that we're bounded by a couple of different counties here. We have Orange County to the west and the north. We have Bergen County, New Jersey to the south. We have Westchester County to the east. So we're all bounded by 3 different counties. We are able to commingle rescue. We are able to commingle damages for one loan. At least that's the way when I went through the training, that's how it was. So rather than saying we have, I'm just throwing numbers around here, $200,000 in damage in Rockland County, $200,000 in Orange County, and $200,000 in Westchester County, and treating them all as separate entities, now we are able to combine all the numbers. So now we have $600,000 or $800,000 as one unit. And guess what? Now we are eligible for more FEMA grants, FEMA help, FEMA assistance, and everything else. So these things are critical, not only for getting people what we know about FEMA's for getting loans, getting help, things of that nature, but it's also for funding. What resources are going to be allocated to you with this? So it's critical that FEMA gets the information so they're able to do that. But Jim, we got this going on here, this going on here. It's obviously that we need FEMA help. Yeah, it's obvious. But what they don't want is for all these resources to go out the window. Now, that's right. And let's remember, human and organizational performance. Context drives behavior, right? Context drives behavior. So, and she's been all over the media with this, so I don't feel bad about sharing the name here. All right, so if I say her name, again, innocent until proven guilty, that she has very likely some type of litigation here or something like that with this. This is not the end of the story. And believe it or not, if I was in a similar situation, I might have made similar decisions. However, I might have done it a different way. Right? So here we have a story from Fox 13. Fired FEMA supervisor claims she followed orders when telling workers to avoid home of Trump supporters. The fired FEMA supervisor accused of telling workers to skip the homes of Trump supporters in Highlands County for Hurricane Milton relief is sharing her side of the story. Marnie, I believe that's how you spell her name, MARN', or it can be Marni, Washington, said the situation is not as cut and dry as it seems. Again, context drives behavior, claiming none of her actions were politically motivated. She claimed she was following orders from leadership and just wanted to keep her crew safe. I left my life, I left my family to serve America, to help the people, and now that has been misused and misconstrued, I am disillusioned as what I took oath with. On what it is I took the oath with. Washington has been a reservist for FEMA since 2019 after Hurricane Milton pushed a tornado through neighborhoods in Lake Placid. She was assigned as the crew heading the Highlands County Disaster Survivor Assistance. Her team was tasked with going door to door and canvassing homeowners who may be entitled to federal aid, like I just explained. My job is to make sure my team is safe and that they don't become part of the disaster, that everyone gets registered safe and sound. The situation went viral when a Microsoft Teams message Washington sent to her crew members was leaked to the Daily Wire, where she sent a list of the best practices to implement. One of them was which avoid homes advertising Trump. Those are shorthand notes after a briefing by my task force lead. She explained, based on the discomforts that the team had been experiencing over the past few weeks, we wanted to make sure the team felt safe. Again, there were reports. Let me point out that a lot of people were pushing back. You're from again. You go there, and we had this with the census here in 2020. We had a guy going around knocking on doors. Guess what? I went up to the guy and said, look, my name is Jimmy Posel. I live in that house over there. And everyone's out. No, it was in like late summer, so everybody's out looking. They're saying, who's Jimmy talking to? I said, look, I'm one of the community members here on the street. We only have about 20 people living on this street, or maximum. Very few houses, dead end street. We only have about 20 people coming in here a day. No, and they're usually delivery persons, maybe landscapers, some work please, delivery, people coming up and down, things of that nature. So, if you don't mind, right? Again, explaining the context. Who are you? You're going around door to door and everything. And he says, "Oh, I appreciate that." And he says to me, "Well, Mr. Posel, I'm with the U.S. Census. Here is my ID. Blah blah blah. I'm knocking on all the doors." I said, "Okay, thank you very much." On that. He says, do you folks really do that in this neighborhood? I said, yeah, we all look out for each other in this neighborhood. I said, we got this guy living here, this guy living here, this family living here, this family living here. We all stick together here and we look out for each other. And, just when we see someone going door to door towards the evening, we want to find out exactly who is here. And you know what he says to me? He says, Mr. Posel, that's nice that you people do that. He says, by the way, I want to move to this community. I said, well, the house over there is for sale. You're welcome to the community, but this is how we roll here. So thank you very much. He said, I wish all communities were like this. I said, no, thank you. But anyway, so again, you have people coming around. You have people, who the hell are you? What are you doing here? And there's a couple of, you have that sort of thing. So going on again, she says, there are a few things that can prevent FEMA personnel on your property. That is no trespassing signs, a privacy sign, loose animals, unstable ground. If you come outside yelling and screaming, if it's dangerous for us to enter, we will also still leave you a flyer so you'll be able to contact FEMA. Washington claimed that was the case in a few areas. Some of them encountered verbiage such as drain the swamp. The last week I was there, I was present with a lady who directly told my team leader that FEMA was not her thing and that she took an aggressive stance. Okay, again, they're sending out people with no security here. Exactly what the hell are they supposed to do? And I think automatically, again, this is the Biden administration, not the Trump administration. For the Biden administration to fire someone right off the bat, right? This is what the appearance is, without first checking and finding out what the context is. Bad move, right? And apparently, what their thing was that people who had Trump signs had this on. They had negative encounters. Again, okay, might I have done this differently? Yeah, I probably would have. But hindsight being 2020 really doesn't matter. I wasn't there. But, there were other reports of people, threatening and technically assaulting FEMA people and everything with things or pointing guns at them and stuff. Again, context drives behavior. It would have been, now, in your organization, wherever you live, when you're living your work, government, or whatever. I've seen this happen with the safety industry always. Well, why did you do X, Y, and Z, Jim? Well, because of X, Y, and Z. Well, you shouldn't have done X, Y, and Z. Well, why shouldn't I have done it? Well, you shouldn't have done it. And you're fired. Well, you didn't even hear my side of the story. There's one person named Joseph A. who is famous for that. He worked here in, I'm not going to say his last name, he worked in Central Jersey, would fire everybody. Then they wondered why nobody wanted to work there and why they still had accidents. Because you wouldn't back up safety, number one. And number two, you didn't promote safety, number two. Number three, when there was an accident, nobody did any context. It's extremely important what that context drives behavior and going and figuring that out. So that's what I want to leave you with here, right? Don't automatically fire someone. Not good here with anything. Let's go through some of these other stories. We have one from British Columbia here, Canada. The family of a worker in British Columbia who was killed in the workplace is criticizing the way the employer has responded to the incident. The incident happened in December 2022 when the employee, Bill Shershivitov, a forklift operator, died after a sack of pellets fell on him. Okay, so let's see what this is about. The employer is getting sued for $290,000 Canadian, which, what's that, about $50? I don't know. I'm only joking. However, the company has not made enough of an effort to make things right. They could have a decency to apologize and say, we were wrong, we should have been safer, we should have done this or that, and we're very sorry, we're responsible for this. However, the company only reached out after Shrest sent a letter requesting an apology almost 2 years after the death. An apology of the company would show that it was taking the onus on itself. However, the only communication the family had received from the company in the wake of the death was an invite to the company's Christmas party after the incident. Again, you have an accident. I don't know what the circumstances here are. If you have to have a plan for all this stuff. As Jody Fisher in the PR podcast pointed out, and we had our conversation a couple months ago, great guy there, you got to have something in place to deal with this. It's all PR. Don't think PR isn't important. How are you going to deal with this stuff when the worst thing happens? How are you going to do it? I always say, this is what we know. This is what we don't know. This is what we're doing to find out. And this is who I am. Those four things. Right? Now, I can see where a company could say, well, we're not going to apologize and we're not, okay, well, don't apologize, but just say something. Say, and we're all touched by what happened here at this facility today. We really liked this guy, whatever his name was. He was a valued employee. And we're trying to get down to the bottom of exactly what happened, the circumstances here. And we're going to set up a little fund for him and pay for some of the funeral expenses. And we're going to be offering some counseling services to our own employees so they can get through this. We're going to have he was a devout religious person. We're going to have some clergy come in here and deal with the counseling. Maybe, and then we're going to have some type of memorial service here for him that's appropriate. We're going to, really reach out with these people. We really feel bad about this. That would be a great thing to do. But just don't leave them hanging for 2 years, and then you wonder why they're suing you. The oil industry found out long ago that if you try to get along with people, right? They're not the only industry. You're trying to get along with people, you're less likely to have litigation, right? Way it is. It's not manipulative, but the thing is, you want to be a decent person. You want to be a decent company and try to get along with people. Care for your employees. Because this is the other thing. What message you want to send for your other employees? That your guys are, look, the guy died on a Monday and on Wednesday there's an ad in the paper for his replacement? Or now online. You don't want that sort of thing. So you can call us and we can help you with that. 845-269-5772. That's all that I have for tonight. Looking forward to seeing you guys with some pre-recorded stuff Thursday and Friday. We are on a meeting. We have a couple of meetings and some other things to do on Thursday and Friday. So I'm not going to be able to make it here live on Safety FM. So for Safety Wars, this is Jim Posel, and we're going to lead on out with our patriotic songs here. And I will see you folks when I see you folks. For Safety Wars and Safety FM, this is Jim Posel.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.